This is round 2 winners bracket game. We've got Elyod playing Underworld plus a couple of star players, Skitter and Glart. He's playing against Randomboy's Vampires. And oh, we've missed a couple of turns. Well, let's jump. Can we jump back to the beginning? Can we jump back to the beginning? We have to click a million fucking times, but we can. We might as well just watch, right? Is nothing gonna happen now? Did I go back too far and break the game? Let's go. All right. Let's pretend we didn't just see all that and things are happening. Elyod has got himself Underworld, and he is going to be on offense in the first half. Let's turn on some skills. I'll turn on all the skills just for a sec because you can look over and see the stars. That's Glart Smasher Jr. He's got Claw and Block and Juggernaut. And then Skitter, also known as Skitter a Stab. He can stab people. He's also got Dodge and Movement Eye and Shadowing is pretty good. And he's got a Prehensile Tail. So you don't really want to dodge away from him. I don't want to stand next to him either. Because he'll just stab the fuck out of you. He doesn't give a shit. And he'll shank a bitch. With these early turns being in replay, things move a little faster, and I can't stop and adjust skill view or anything to see what's happening. So we'll just have to coast until we reach parity with reality. I'm pretty sure this is not an actual 2-minute turn game. Anyway, we're just taking line of skirmish blocks. We've got 1 removal. And then Glart is a pretty good guy to blitz with. One entirely sensible thing that Elyod has done is gone with a super low reroll build. He's got 1 plus a leader. So you got to be super conservative reroll and shit anyway. So there's really no drawback to blitzing people with a Glart. On the other hand, he does have a Claw Palmer of his own. And Glart is getting immediately knocked over by Mighty Blow Vampire. To no effect. The push sends this guy up here. Or I don't know, maybe it was there anyway. It's all moving so fast, but that's a pretty solid foul target that's Skaven Blitzer there. The Vampires are going to want to foul a lot. They've got a pretty deep bench, is at 15 players. And he does have a Thrall with Mighty Foul. So I think you're going to see a random guy do his best to set up at least a reasonable foul every turn. Yeah, just a goblin. You get the 3 dice goblin with tackle and mighty blow. That's pretty good, right? With all the stars, Elyod does have a 13-player team, but a lot of those players are pretty vulnerable to removals. So if you can whittle them down a bit, that's great. Vampires also tend to whittle themselves down. We haven't seen any bloodlusting yet. And just keep fouling this guy. You want him off. That's a pretty scary piece. He was able to palm somebody once and then never got up from it. And that's kind of the risk you take. That's why you got 2 bombers. This one's got Claw. aside from the 4 vampires, everybody else is armor 7, so it's not a huge matchup for Claw, but getting to Claw Palm a vampire once or twice, when it works, it's great. And Elyod not even gonna do anything with the ball. He's just staying out of range. Totally reasonable. It's very difficult to play against vampires in these fast turn games, and looks like we have a turn timer, so we're probably back lined up with reality. Maybe we're getting close to it anyway. Who the hell knows? But if you just make a normal X cage, they're gonna hypnogaze somebody and then walk in and sack you. So you've got to be extra careful to cover everything. It's hard to see all the avenues of attack for vampires because of hypnogaze. And when you don't have much time to work it out, maybe it's best to just not give him any opportunities. And that's what he's doing. We'll just have a big fight right over here for a few turns. Maybe the removals will go our way. They're not really so far. We had a turn 1 line of scrimmage block, KO a Thrall, and that's it. Elyod's lost 2 players. So the underworld are actually a man down. This guy's just shifting around deep in the backfield. Skitter is a guy you might even want to use as a scoring threat. I mean, sure, you hate having to try and give him the ball, but he is agility 4 and can reroll that half the time, so it's still pretty likely. And he is Gutter Runner. It's nice to have Gutter Runner when you're Underworld. It's res, so you don't care about things like getting SPP on star players. Skitter is also a pretty convincing one-turn threat. Again, movement 9. He's just another gutter. Yeah, he's got dodge. If you get him the ball, he can just run past people. All right, things are getting good. We're down to 9 against 9, and can we? Yeah, and I think we are now definitely lined up with reality, so we can adjust the skills to see what the hell everybody has. There's the Skaven alignment with guard right in the middle of things. On the inside here, where he's not vulnerable to being pushed off here and shunted away. Granted, he's not doing much. I mean, anybody would be an assist there. But, you only have so many players. He's here, he's protecting this guy, so he's hard to do. That's a pretty tricky hypnogaze. See Bloodlust? I guess he didn't. I read that wrong. The Ram guy is just going in, hypnotizing everybody. Not sure what the plan is here or why he's doing that. Especially this guy just walking in, hypnogaze somebody in 3 tackle zones. Hypno is an agility roll, and it is affected by tackle zone, so it's not easy. I guess the plan is to clear a path straight through and run down at the ball. Oh, all right. Seems reasonable. Since it's all worked out, not a lot of places to go with the ball here. That's kind of the drawback of hanging deep like this, is that you don't have a lot of support. But you can, all right, you can get there. It's a 1-die skull with Klart, and Lona reroll works. That's pretty scary. You might have to, Troll can cover this because there's nobody basing him. Skitter, you have a choice. Do you dodge him up here somewhere, or do you stab a guy? I think the dodge is probably a little better overall, but stabbing that guy, if it works, would have been sweet. It's kind of gotten enough people around. So the ball is at least reasonably safe, because these vampires are a little far away. One thing you could do, come down here, Hypnogaze Glart, and then use this guy to walk right in at the ball. I don't play a lot of vampires. I'm not really an expert. I don't have the experience to know like when it's a good idea to try shit like this. It looks like random guy is going to try it. All right, this guy will come in with tackle. I mean, if you're underworld, there's not much more you could have done to prevent that. Troll did his best to catch it, but didn't quite manage. So, you know, not bad. I mean, it's turn 7, so not easy for Elyod to pick the ball up again and score from here. Vampires pretty famously much better on defense. And they've done a great job defending. Skitter is, again, still a threat. He can score from here. It's not easy to get him the ball. You make a dodge with 2 heads, pick it up, come over here, hand it off to him, and then hope he does the thing. And, yeah. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the catch. But, you know, if he did, again, you just dodge right through some tackle zones. There are just a couple of 3+s. To go around this way, maybe. Hope to go out of bounds. I don't know. Or you get yourself KO'd. But yeah, that was probably Elyod's best shot, and just didn't get the dice for it. So can random guy turn this into a score? Probably not. None of these guys are in great positions. Maybe if this player makes a dodge, comes down here. But the ball's where it's not reachable. Alright, still got the threat. Elyod will not have any scoring threats. So he can concentrate on getting to halftime without conceding a touchdown. Oh, that's an apple. Oh, that's the dirty player. Yeah. Oh, so he's an important guy. All right, so he'll be back for the second half. We're looking at guards. This one's KO'd. Randomboy has 3 KOs, but no casualties. Elyod has 2 KOs as well. And we're probably looking at just a loner roll for them. Deep teams, though, a random guy's got 15 players, and Elyod has 13. So probably still looking at 11v11, but obviously the guys that Elyod is missing are 2 of his really important ones. Skitter and Tackle Palm Man. So he's really gonna want them back. Random guys KOs. Yeah, he lost his guard thrall. But other than that, it's just 2 random thralls. This team build is very, very heavy on vampires. There are exactly 2 skills in total on his thralls, and he's got 11 of them. And so 9 of them are rookies. Yeah, so he picked up the ball. I'm not sure how that really helps a whole lot. Oh. Or to this guy who, well, I don't know. Why not? He's all set up to score on turn 9. It's possible that this is bugged out because the replay is fucked up, and Elyod's got another turn, and he's really just being brilliant and is going to score. I mean, this certainly prevents the vampires from scoring, and it looks cool, so that's great. And the vampires still get some blocks. I mean, you can knock this guy down. That's a good guy to knock down. You gotta straight up 2 dice him. Then what? You can hit Troll maybe? Or just blitz this guy because he's pretty good too. Where is the rower with leader? He's over here. That's a guy I would probably want. Maybe just set up a foul. I mean, imagine if you get rid of this guy and he doesn't come back for the second half. Elyod is playing with one reroll for the whole game. He's going to foul a killer. That's not bad either. Didn't work out. And it is indeed halftime. So at least the turn counter is right, and the turn timers are right as well. Vampires do what they do. In the first half, they were on defense, and Underworld could not break through. Had some chances. Did get sacked because Hypnogaze has been working pretty much perfectly. And now Random Guy's got to find a way to score. And this is where it gets a little more challenging for Vampires. They're all pretty slow. What is happening here? This is not a defensive formation that I am familiar with. I don't know what to say. I'm not sure what's happening. This is the second half. It's turn 9. You're on defense. You're protecting some guys from getting blitzed, I guess. And you're fast enough to swing back, maybe. But I'm not sure I see the point of setting up in this particular defensive structure. Nor do I see why Ram guy is kind of set up to go that way. I feel like something's just maybe screwed up. Let's reset the game here. Because I don't know what I'm seeing, but it's not making any sense to me. Search for match. Blitz put. Entirely sensible victory counters. All right. I'm going to go get a little more coffee. And while this reloads, I'll be back in just a sec. All right, yeah, we're looking at the same thing. I guess it's probably all right because again, Underworld, these players are all pretty quick. The Skaven line, they're all Skaven, and move 7. They can get down here if they need to. Oh, walked into a bloodlust fail, into a KO, into a triple book down on a block. Into another bloodlust fail. But you got a goblin out of it, so all right. Meanwhile, we didn't even look at the halftime KO rolls. Looks like Elyod has failed both of his, which means his 2 important players there stayed out. Random guy got 1 KO back, maybe 2 because he just lost another one. But he did not get his guard back, so we won't get to see how Randomboy positions his guard, because it's just going to sit there on the bench. And yeah, all these players are just going to get back into relevance. It's not like vampires are going to outrun you, but I don't see why you would, even give them the opportunity. I think if you're Randomboy here, you don't mind scoring early either. Oh, there goes your dirty player. That's a shame. He's already burned his Appo, keeping that man alive, and he's dead again. And that's armor 7. But yeah, vampires, as we saw in the first half, pretty strong on defense. You probably don't hate giving Underworld another chance. Underworld have all sorts of ways to score in quickly and surprisingly. But if you kill every goblin, that takes care of one of them. He only has 4 goblins, right? 3 of them are cast, so there should be one more around here somewhere. That's Skaven Lineman. Those are the 2 throwers. There's Killer. There's Lineman. There's Glart, and there's his last surviving goblin. So that's a guy you'd like to get rid of just for a little peace of mind. Because Underworld goblins can be pretty annoying. This is just a rookie, so he's just a goblin, right? I mean, he doesn't have anything fancy like 2 heads. But you'd like to remove the option of him getting thrown. It's not a high percentage play, but why give him a chance? God, everybody's falling off the field these days. Underworld is down to 8 players. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. I'm sorry. Did I miscount? No, that's 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The vampires have 5, 6, 7, 8 themselves, so it's 8 against 8. You'd think with things getting a little more open and spread out, that would be favorable, if anything, to the faster team, and that is Underworld. But on the other hand, it does mean that 4 of these 8 players are vampires, and they can open up an awful lot of space with Hypno Gaze. So that's the guard lineman. He's kind of out off to the side here by himself, where he didn't really want to be, and he's a good target to get hit. It comes a little more difficult to position guards and such. Again, when you're down to 8 players. But yeah, he's not a guy you really want to get blitzed, and you don't really want him all the way on the outside of the formation. It's possible for one of the vampire to blitz from this direction, push him farther away, but that runs the risk of a bloodlust. Maybe what you do is you activate your blitz, take a step forward, and then see if you bloodlust or not. Because maybe you could have come through in this direction if you didn't. One nice thing about blitzing from the outside is that you can then go bite this thrall if you have to. Right, because if you knock them down on them both down, then you're free to take another step forward. You kind of aren't if you're coming in this direction and basing Glart, which is a little scary too. We're just going to hit the only guy who's around and get rid of him. I mean, it's Mighty Blow, or most of the players on both of these teams are armor 7. So it's not, it's not surprising to see casualty boxes filling up like this. I guess the vampires have been a little luckier with the removals. Elyod's lost a couple of super valuable players to KOs that did not come back at halftime. Alright, so just cage up here. Might as well bring everybody. Yeah, there's no reason for these two guys to stay over here. You might as well, I guess, get the vampire down this way. He's going to have to bite a guy, probably. Yeah, thinking about re-rolling it, and he does. All that to not have to bite this guy, which he easily could have done anyway. I'm not sure if that's the way to go, but random guy plays a lot of vampires, and I don't. So I'm gonna trust him on that. Another thing I'm going to do is give Tony a nothing. Please enjoy your nothing. We're not quite in scoring range yet. This guy is. So you could hand him the ball and just have him fuck off up here. Probably not a thing you want to take a risk on, but I don't know. We do have only a couple of players free. That's another problem you run into when removals start taking their toll, and it becomes like 8 on 7 or whatever. Once you get a couple guys based, suddenly you don't have enough people to build a cage. It's got enough of a screen here. There's nowhere easy to go. But probably the thing is Blitz Glart out of the way like this. If you still had a guard, you could put him in here somewhere. So you get an assist on that. So right now, Glart's actually not easy to block. You got to one dice him. Do you have somebody free who could hypnotize this Warpstone Troll? I guess you could go 1, 2, Hypnogaze, and then this guy could go 1, 2, 3, 4, hit. That's probably all a little optimistic, and sure, he's just going to go after the guy in the screen. There are no backups, right? If you break armor on this guy, then suddenly there's just nobody left who can screen. Except Glart, and then these guys can't. Well, maybe they could roll some dodges or whatever. Also, I got the players backwards. This is just his Skaven thrower, and this is Glart. I'm sorry, guys. This is the thing. I can answer no. I do this a lot with Underworld. I mean, they're kind of the racist team anyway. But for some reason, I mix them up all the time. I guess they all look the same to me. I'm sorry. I know, it sounds terrible. I'm a bad human being. Glart should at least be easy. He's got the big fucking star under his feet. But here I am working out how to 2 dice a strength 4 player and he's strength 3. So all you have to do is just walk right into him and punch him, and it would work. Random guy has just gone after Killer Man, and then the ball's safe enough. You know, you got a vampire with the ball, and you got more vampires in the way. This is Underworld, but they're not really going to do any like 2 heads shenanigans because they only have 1 goblin, and he's a rookie. This guy here is Blodge and 2 heads, so he can go almost anywhere on a 2+. But he's not stunty, so he can't just completely ignore tackle zones and dodge like here, here, here. You know, so he still has to be reasonable. And like, yeah, he's. I think both teams are rapidly running out of players. Yeah, okay, so here's some stunty shenanigans to get this guy up here to kind of help close this off. Vampires. This guy's still not in scoring range. You can blitz through this. Removal helps a lot. Now you don't have to sideline cage, which you certainly don't want to do. You can cage kind of sideliney, but not quite. You'll be screening along here. The ball will be up here somewhere. And all we really need to do for the vampires is not fail Bloodlust here. Randomboy still has a reroll. So he's left his thralls behind. That can't be helped. He's only got 3 of them left. He's just going to have to try and score without them. He's got some turns. He's got some creative things he can do. He can try activating this player to try and score. If he fails a Bloodlust, just hand off to the blodger and then get him sent off. Granted, it's still a turnover, but at least you've got the ball on a blodger with strength 4. You can hang out here for a few more turns. There's no great threat on the ball. Yeah, and the underworld is now down to 6 players, so they're not going to be able to work up too much of a threat. Just when they need 3 of them to throw a block. Because Goblin. And that's half your team to push this thrall 1 square. There's still some things you can do. You can take a block over here. Maybe add a blitz there just so that this guy could reposition. You shove him this way and then run up here. Maybe this vampire might try to blitz his way out, but he's stuck between 2 pretty strong dudes, so maybe what he'll do is just dodge. And that's the last goblin injured. So there won't be a throw teammate. There's still a 50-50 chance after you score here that Skitter comes back. We were saying that earlier. Skitter, reasonable 1-turn threat, right? He is gutter runner. You think of him as the jackass who runs around and stabs people. And also Shadow Wings. Alright, so Randomboy's in excellent shape. And he's even managed to get himself a Thrall free, so that Thrall can end up in the end zone for a turn 16 score. And Elyod will have no goblins left at all. Right, thrower, lineman, skitter, blitzer. Really, his only hope is probably a 1-turn with skitter. He's based the ball. He's done it twice. He's put some people in the way. You can fail some dice here. All right, now there are 3 people in the way. Oh, one of them failed a GFI and stunned himself. So there's all sorts of chain potential. You can bring this guy up here somewhere and block him, push him out of the way. You can just blitz with him. I guess you're just going to blitz this guy out of the way and not even worry about a chain because you can block with Thrall afterwards. Although it would have been nice to have this Thrall free to move. Let me block with the Vampire. The Thrall is free and can go sit in the end zone. He's not needed, and a random guy is going to score on turn 16. What do the KOs look like? Skitter has stayed out. So Underworld have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. None of them are throwable. None of them have movement more than 7. So I guess the last chance is a riot. Yeah, random guy is going to set up in a really deep, wide formation, which is fine. Yeah, put one of your vampires over on this side too, because the only thing that can hurt you now is a riot, and they probably won't have more than 1 or 2 scoring threats. They won't be well protected, so you'll be able to knock one of them down if that should happen. Riot, not a very likely kickoff event. And it's perfect defense. So that's the game. Congratulations to Randomboy. You're 2-0. Elyod will be dropping into the loser's bracket. But this is a top bracket game, so Elyod not eliminated by the loss.